So when you're looking for the best price, make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Make sure the level of installation is the same, because if you're comparing price just on the lowest bidder, you never want the lowest bidder because they're cutting a corner. Now, what that corner is, you don't know. And the other thing is, all right, hey guys, Jerry from Showtime Audio. So we are doing a wiring rescue for a good friend of mine. He actually does a lot of work for us. He's a glass guy, so he's an amazing glass guy. We've known him forever. He has this Silverado and somebody put bass in it, and they did not do the greatest job in the world. And we talk about this not to talk bad about the people, but more to educate you on what not to do and what to look for if you get a system done, right? So there's a bunch, again, it's all the little things that add up. I mean, it did not sound great when he first got it done. It definitely did not continue to sound great, and then eventually it just died. So, but we wanted to show you why. So number one is, this is the awesome ground that they did. So what they did is they took this terminal, they shot 3 screws in the center of the hole, and then that wasn't enough because it'll still shift. They shot one through the ring terminal. Now, obviously, that's not a good ground. Number 2, they didn't grind the paint. So the only contact for the ring terminal to actual ground is the bare threads that are going through the sheet metal and touching the terminal itself. To tell you that's not a great ground is an understatement. Okay. Second or third, this is a 1/0 ring terminal. This is a piece of 4 gauge. They smashed it with like a hammer or a vise. And that would be okay or bad all on its own. But what they did is, I pulled it out. Literally, it pulled right out. They smashed if you can see that, see how flat that is? They smashed the sheathing of the wire. So half this terminal wasn't touching any copper. It was actually smashing around the sheathing of the wire. And you can only smash it so far because the sheathing is keeping it from compressing. So there, look. See how nice and flat that is? But it slid right out. Whenever you see, this is not good. I see people crimp like this all the time. It's flat. Yes, it's flat and it's smashed, but you can still pull it out. In a crimp, there needs to be some kind of shape or some kind of dent in the center, like a stopper, so that otherwise it's useless. I mean, it just pulls right out. So that's, don't do that. So, okay. All right. Next, for signal, they use this awesomeness. So this is a high-low converter, right? So because obviously there's no RCA jacks in this vehicle, so you need to put in a converter that goes from high level, which is speaker level, to low level, which is the RCAs that go into the amplifier. This is not fantastic. So this is like a $10 part, $7 part, right? And then on top of that, they ran wires from the high-low to each kick panel. The crazy thing is, the factory amplifier is right there. So you could have just ran the signal and grabbed it right off of the stock amplifier. They also used my favorite, crimp caps. Ooh, we're gonna start a controversy, but you know, again, these are not my favorite. I mean, they're okay, but to me, long term, they don't hold up. The other thing, and I'll show you this in a minute. This is the man. So it's an 800 watt amp. This is Stinger wire. Stinger is actually a name brand, right? But this is their 4 gauge. Now, just to give you an idea, I don't know, take a look at that. So it is basically, this is an 8 gauge. And if you see how much sheathing it has versus how much actual copper, and then on the other bad part about that, it's CCA. So not only is it not 4 gauge, built like an 8 gauge, CCA, it performs like a 10 gauge or a 12 gauge. So I mean, basically out of that 800 watt amp, you're probably getting like 200 watts, 300 watts. So you paid for all, you paid for an 800 watt amp and you're getting probably 200-300 watts out of it max. That's not to take into account the awesome ground, the horrible signal. I mean, again, we're just stacking up problems. And all those problems take away from the final outcome, which is a ton of bass. So the awesomeness continues, right? So this is another thing. This is a circuit breaker. Great. This is not a good circuit breaker. Bad. So these are cheap circuit breakers. They don't work well. They corrode. They blow very easily, or they don't blow at all. This is why people don't like circuit breakers. But if you use a quality circuit breaker like a Busman or the types that we use, which are used for industrial applications or commercial applications, you will have a good result. If you use this, you will not. But, so let's continue with the awesomeness, right? So just want to show you. I haven't taken this apart, so we're gonna both be surprised here. But again, so they crimped this with like, I don't know what the hell, but the cool thing about this is, see that dent? So this is a set of crimpers. So that dent at least gives you some form of tension so that you can't pull the connection out, right? But look at this. I mean, you taped it. You took the time to tape it. Why not go a hair further? I mean, it's like you're already here. Like, why would you not? Oh, drives me nuts. But, so, look at that. So that's, again, and it's crimped. I don't know, again, I'm not sure what the hell they're using, but at least it's got the dent, so it has some tension on it, and every connection is kind of, let's see, more magic. Oh, well, I see why they did that. Look at that. So it's corroding already, right? And I mean, this install's not super super old. Sorry. Well, that's loose too. But again, so at least they double crimped that. See, they crimped it twice. So, but that's good because that creates two forms where the wire can't pull out, right? But again, just because you're using the same stuff in theory, oh, I'm using Stinger. Yes, but Stinger Select, OFC, cheap stuff. I'm using a circuit breaker. Yes, but it's a $10 one off of Amazon, not a $50 one from a reputable company. Again, all these little things, oh, I'm using, 4 gauge. Yeah, but if it's OFC and junk, it's not a 4 gauge, So get what you pay for, right? If you pay for an 800 watt amp, a 1000 watt amp, a 2000 watt amp, make sure that they're using the proper wiring, circuit breakers and things, because otherwise it's a waste. You might as well have bought a cheaper amp and done it with better installation than buy a better amp and only get half of what you paid for. So we're continuing on with the Silverado project. So we always deaden around the driver and behind the driver. And this helps us not only deaden the area around the speakers, but it also allows us to have a seal because it's got this closed cell foam. So when we bolt the speaker back up to the factory spot, it seals against the door panel. And did it show you as well on the back? So on the rear, same thing. And so here's our amp rack. So again, when the car came in, the amps were just kind of thrown everywhere. Nothing was wired properly and nothing was mounted. So we built this composite board that goes around the seatbelt bolt. It follows the line of the car. And then obviously we mounted and wired all the equipment. So everything's braided. It's got ferrules on it. And we still have to mount this. Now, also want to show you our ground. So this is our ground, which The paint, there's a plush nut or a riv nut. The paint has been ground clean around it. There's a star washer, and then the lugs are bolted on. So we do the most we can to ensure that we have a proper ground. So even the speaker wire, this is a speaker wire for the sub, even that's been braided just so that it kind of goes with the theme, and it also protects the wire in case something under here gets close to it. This thing is gonna be loud. Now, he wants this vehicle strictly for loud. He's basically, he goes out, opens all the doors and just turns on the music and lets it go. So in order to accomplish that, we chose this equipment. So this is the original 2-inch wideband that's up in the dash, which we are now replacing with this compression tweeter. And then, but you can see, there's a composite bracket. This is the capacitor. We made a plug so that it'll plug in, drop right in and bolt to the stock locations. Look at these monsters. So in the front of this truck, normally it's a 6x9. We made a custom adapter and we're able to fit an 8-inch. So he's gonna have 8-inch drivers with these compression horns. I mean, so the reason that's important is when they open the doors, the sound can project kind of like a pro audio setup, right? So same thing, composite. It's got our seal around the driver where the driver and the adapter meet. Again, deadener behind it, so that's what creates the seal behind it. We have a connector so that we can literally plug it in so it's still serviceable as if it is from the factory. And then the rears are 6.5. Same thing, same giant compression horn on the rear, but obviously it's a 6.5, smaller driver, but same thing, composite, connector. So in essence, this whole thing will now just bolt in, but if you ever have to service it, you can go back in there and just take it back out. All right, check it out, guys. So just wanted to show you. So before they had that cheesy circuit breaker just sitting here all, flopping around, black tape the whole thing, just not ideal, right? So what we did is we built this ABS bracket. I don't know if you can see that, but it's an ABS bracket and it picks up this stock bolt right here. So it's actually right here between this bar and the cross member. But it allows us to mount the circuit breakers. And as you can see, so all our wires are braided and heat shrunk so that they denote that it's power. And then those obviously run around and they bolt right in here to the stock battery off of the distribution block for the factory battery. But if anything happens, you just literally press the button and there you go. System is completely disabled. Put it back, make sure they click, back in business. Guys, so we're finishing up Sandro's repair. So he actually bought this truck with the stereo in it, which makes me feel a little better because I thought he went somewhere and paid somebody to do this awesomeness. So, but now the truck sounds amazing. Now, the bass, as far as the bass goes, we used all the exact same gear except for the wiring and the high-low. But the enclosure is the same, the woofers are the same, the amp is the same, epicenter, everything's the same. And the way it sounds now compared to the way it sounded with the other install, keep in mind, it's all the same gear, but install matters. So when you're looking for the best price, make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Make sure the level of installation is the same, because if you're comparing price just on the lowest bidder, you never want the lowest bidder because they're cutting a corner. Now, what that corner is, you don't know. And the other thing is, because a lot of what we do is behind the scenes and you'll never see it, they can cut a lot of corners if they want, because one, you'll never see it because you'd have to take apart a bunch of stuff to get to it. And if you could do that, you wouldn't need to pay somebody to put it in. And two is, you have to know what you're looking for. Like, you have to know that the ground is incorrect. You have to know that the signal's incorrect. You have to know that the radio rolls off. You have to know that there's a difference between CCA and OFC, which is the aluminum versus actual copper wire. So that's a lot for you to have to research and know and verify. Or you can just pay a reputable shop and save yourself a lot of aggravation and a lot of stress, right? So this is why we always say, you know, the gear is important, but this gear, like especially the, you know, the bass part of it, it isn't the highest end gear, but it sounds amazing now. I mean, now that it has the proper wire, proper ground, proper signal, I mean, it's just unreal how much output, especially if you heard what this thing sounded like when it came in. This is a prefab enclosure. So it's a rhino lined, and it's got this texture lined, it's ported, and it's two 10-inch kicker flat subs. It's an 800, a kicker 800 watt monoblock. It's a little amp like this and an epicenter. But this thing gets down. I mean, for being such a standard enclosure, it works really, really well for this application, and it has a pretty good amount of bass considering it, again, it's a prefab. And the nice thing is, I mean, it fits right under the seat, you know? So you're basically not losing any space in the vehicle. Right. So the other thing that we did was, again, if you follow any of our stuff, you know we like to mount bass knobs. He had his epicenter knob was actually stuck to the dash down here. Now the thing is, like, when you're driving, to find the thing and to reach it is kind of a pain, so we don't like that. We want it within reach of the driver. So the nice thing about it being here in the column, this is the level for the bass, and then this is the epicenter. This creates the effect. So if you listen to Spanish music, rock music, older recordings which don't have bass in them, you need an epicenter because the epicenter actually fills in the bass that's missing. So in this case, we have two knobs because he had the epicenter already. This is the original epicenter. If we redid this truck and we chose the gear, we would do an epicenter micro. The epicenter micro has a concentric knob, basically a knob within a knob. So the inner knob controls the level, the outer knob controls the effect. And so we would have both of those knobs living here on the column, and you can do everything on the fly to keep it a little bit more clean, but we have to work with what the client has. And so that's why we ended up putting the epicenter knob here so it's nice and easy to reach, and then the level here. So he can adjust the level, and depending on the music, he can adjust the effect of the, and if you saw the speakers, this thing is loud. This thing is rip your face off loud. I mean, it's meant to park it, pop the doors, and just let it ride, right? It's literally meant to be loud. But we still were able to keep all the speakers, because we make custom adapters, we're able to make all the speakers fit in the factory locations without any modifications. The speakers bolt up as if they came with the vehicle, tweeters bolt up, and then we mounted the amps behind the seat. And if ever the client wants to get rid of the truck, we can remove it and reverse the entire process.
Visit our website at showtimeaudiochicago.com.